So Hitler wrote Mein Kampf in what, 1922? That's when he was in prison, or he had it printed, or he'd written it. But I don't know where in the book he was talking about. I've read it. I didn't think it was that great. I thought it was kind of stupid. Everybody said, "Oh, it's great and it's genius." I thought that's. He was talking about technology, which is constantly advancing, but he said it was as a peak in 1922. 1922 is a peak. That's not a futuristic. That's not a futuristic person. That's not somebody thinking future. That's somebody thinking they're at a peak in 1922. Are you kidding me? Anyway, he was in prison, and my guess is he was in prison for wasn't he like speaking or whatever it was he was in for. Whoever had him put in there, being it was Germany, somebody elitist that didn't like what he was saying had him put in there, and they probably had a psychological test on him to prove he was insane or crazy or something like that, and the possibility of that person being a Jew, the psychiatrist that gave him the diagnosis that he was crazy. And then he went on a tirade against Jews for thinking he was crazy, maybe, or started writing about it. And his ideas spawned from, why would this guy call me crazy? I'm not crazy. I have done nothing. I don't know, I don't know what. You don't have any records of it. Is there any records of his psychological analysis? No, of course not. He became a freaking dictator and destroyed them. So nobody'd know what anybody wrote about him. But even if they did, it's who's not to say he was just a doctor oppressing him, and that's what God caused him the tirade to. If he was a doctor and he was told by elitists to call him crazy or something, and he wrote against him, then what happened is retaliation against somebody falsely accusing him of crazy in a position of collegiate or whatever they call it, whatever you call it, with a diploma or with a PhD. If you're a doctor of psychiatry, of course it's a prison, so it would be a prison psychiatrist. Might just been I don't know if it'd be I don't know, but I'm just saying there's might be something there that's caused all his. Because I think I started reading at the beginning of the book. It wasn't until like the middle or to the end of the book is where he started talking. I wasn't really paying attention. I wouldn't know what I was reading. But anyway, I mean, I knew what I was reading, but I didn't know what the subject matter was. All you hear is genius and all this stuff. But I thought it was kind of stupid. It wasn't worth the hype. But they didn't start talking about, and it wasn't real hateful. I mean, it would be to somebody, if their relation was upended or murdered or whatever, and then they look back and seen what he's saying, then they try to hype that he was really, because I didn't see hate in it. I mean, I'd know what a hateful speech was, and that was just. That was no more than. In fact, it was lighter than what slavery would be. I mean, he wasn't, and even slavery wasn't. I mean, it is. But there's been slaves throughout ages, and I'm not condoning any of this. I'm just saying. I'm just trying to figure out. I just had I don't know what they call, but. Anyway, that maybe that's what caused his maybe at first he started out. you know what? Right now, it's just kind of coming together that him, how, if he became tyrannical against Jews after I mean, when he was in prison from going on a retaliation from being oppressed by a wrongful diagnosis of him being crazy or whatever. Maybe it's not, or maybe it's not crazy, or maybe they just they released him, or wasn't crazy. I mean, you're not going to find the transcripts, or I'm sure somebody will make some up. They'll predate them and they'll have it aged paper, and because they'll say they'll be the ones that do it, that have they'll be called into court to verify that it's aged and properly dated and everything like that, and to make it sound original. But there wouldn't be any, and it'd be a big freaking lie if there was, because that's how people do it. That's how these upper echelons do it. They'll predate stuff and they'll get experts, and then the experts will come in and say that, oh yeah, that's because they're being put on a stand, and they're going to say, yeah, that's exactly how the paper would. They're not going to say he was part of a conspiracy. But I wonder if that's what caused. So he said, okay, if you're going to go against me, then I'm going to go against you. He was little, so that smaller people are like that. They get some rebellion or revenge started, man. They're just like, they'll climb on top of, they'll hold the mountain. I don't know. That's just what I'm thinking. It's a possibility, but the elitists possibly told some doctor, either, well, might have been paid well. I don't know. That's be an interesting story, but you're not going to find it because there'll probably be no records of it. So, anyway.